First of all, I just want to take this opportunity to thank all these activists who've come from all over the country today, as far north as Yorkshire. I think today was a foregone conclusion. I was told there was a high risk of conviction. But you know, you've got to remember certain things. We live now in a country with a legal system where Anjem Choudhury can stand up in court and win the right to preach in public, despite terrorist connections, despite arrests for terrorism. He can stand up in court and argue, I should still be allowed to go about my business. And they say, yes, I agree with you. And he wins that right to preach in public. I knocked on a door and spoke to someone, and yet I'm convicted of harassment. We go out in public with merchandise on, and I get found guilty of wearing political uniforms. It is a farce. You could tell by the ASBO that they applied for. The terms of that ASBO: not allowed to address a demonstration or a rally, not allowed to use a loudhailer, not allowed to demonstrate near a mosque. You can just tell by those terms that this was politically motivated and biased in the extreme. That word extreme is quite interesting because the judge, the icing on the cake, as the judge has thrown out the ASBO application. He said that its terms are extreme. He actually used that as a direct quote from the judge. They're extreme. To stop a political party leader from speaking to a demonstration or a rally. He actually said those words, and despite incessant activity and pleas from the prosecution, he said, listen, we're not having an ASBO, end of. I was fined £1,000, case closed. But, you know, the judicial system, in my opinion, and the police are biased and they act in a politically motivated way, and it's disgraceful. We can't rely on these people anymore. But regardless of any of these things, we will plough on regardless. We are not going to stop our activities. We are never going to back down. We are never going to retreat one single inch, because we know we are in the right and we are defending our country. And the judge even said that our aims and objectives, which are quite legitimate and legal, are that we want to prevent Islamic extremism and Islamic terrorism. One of the things about this case is the fact that the prosecution was brought about by a woman. Well, I have encountered this so many times, and it's indicative of Islamic extremists, people who preach terrorism, people who prepare for acts of terrorism or even commit acts of terrorism. Jihadists, in other words. For some reason, every time we knock on their door, their wives are sent to the front door. It is ridiculous in the extreme. If there was a group of people outside my front door, I would go and answer the door like a real man should. When they went to Abu Qatada's house, we was dragged into court, and the name on the paperwork wasn't Abu Qatada, it was his wife. When I knocked on Anjem Choudhury's front door, who was sent to the front door? His wife. These people are despicable cowards, and when I went to Sajil Shahid's house, who was he sent to the front door? His wife. These people are scum. And I make no excuse for using language like that. They're scum, they're parasites on this country, they don't belong here, and Britain First will oppose them at every single twist and turn. We will never surrender.